Imaginary, the newest PG-13 horror, out now. Let's talk about it.
It was just my imagination.
Okay, so Imaginary is the newest horror movie that is out on the big screen for you guys to go and check out. Now, this is PG-13, brought to you by Lionsgate and Blumhouse. Now, if you guys have seen the trailer, this is the teddy bear one. You know, that teddy bear, the imaginary friend, comes back to haunt you. You know, that type of horror movie. That's what this movie is about. And I tell you what, a really cool idea and a really cool concept about imaginary friends and how, you know, kids attach themselves to these imaginary friends and what would happen if you suddenly tear that apart. That is such an interesting idea, and to really dive into the horror aspects of that sounded so refreshing and so exciting to me. But this movie is not it. I'm telling you that now. This is not it. This is easily one of the lackluster ones that we're going to get throughout the year. Look, I will never understand why they keep doing this with the PG-13 horrors, because it really limits them. Like, this was the same thing with Megan when Megan came out. I felt like the PG-13 took away from what that movie could have been. And obviously when they dropped the unrated version, the higher version, it was a much better film than the previous one. This film had so much potential, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. Like, there's one scene in particular involving when they're on the bed. That scene had a lot of tension building, and I enjoyed that scene. Outside of that, there wasn't really any tension, any suspense. You know, I never got that feeling of anxiety, like, oh, something's about to happen, I'm freaking out. Never got that. Now, if you're not going to make a movie like this, R-rated, MA, you're not going to have the blood and gore, you're not going to deal with that sort of horror stuff, you at least got to make it suspenseful. You at least need to nail that to keep me engaged. If not, you need to have some good characters that I really want to care about. None of that existed in this movie, in my opinion. None of it. Like, when you dive into the characters, the older sister is a bitch. I hated her throughout the whole entire film. Just, man, she is unbearable. I was hoping she was going to die. Like, I really was. I was like, yeah, cool. I hope you die. Then you get to our main lead. They tried to give her this character arc of you feeling sorry for her because of the trauma that she had as a child, and when the big twist happens and it gets revealed of what it is and what happened and everything like that, you're supposed to try and feel sympathetic for the character, but they didn't do enough build up for me to actually fully invest in this character, and when that twist happens to go, oh my god, I really feel bad for you, I really do, and I want you to survive and, you know, get through this. They didn't do enough of that. So, you know, that kind of took away from it. Then you have the dude that you see in the trailer. He's an asshole. I wanted him to die as well. The dad's not really in it that much. He leaves. So I can't really comment on him. And the little girl. Look, the performance from the little girl was good. I got to give her credit. Really enjoyed her performance. I thought she played that part really well. There is one scene where it was kind of creepy, the way that she played it as well. I thought she did a fantastic job in this one scene where she's talking to the doctor. That scene was great. I think that was one of the strongest scenes of the movie. And the way that she portrayed that, I thought, you know what? Kudos to you, little girl. You got some talent there, man. That was really, really good. So I thought she worked really, really well for what she was given. And I didn't mind that character. Now, as for the actual entity itself, I like the concept behind it. And I actually did enjoy the imaginational realm, whatever you want to call that realm that they're in this movie as well, where they go to, and that. It's in the trailers. I really liked the design set of that, and I really enjoyed that whole sequence, like seeing it come to life, imagine what an imagination would be like if it was a realm or a different dimension. And this is what I would imagine it would be. And I liked that aspect of it. And I liked how it was edited and integrated into the story, and I thought that was one of the strong parts as well. Outside of all that, there's just nothing else. There really is nothing else. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, one person dies in this whole entire film. One person dies. That's it. I'm sorry, they try to make stakes, but there is no stakes. They didn't have the balls to kill another person, which I thought they were going to kill, and I thought that was going to be the catalyst for everything, but nope, didn't happen. And then when one person dies, it's kind of like, yeah, okay. Is anticlimactic. It wasn't even like you don't feel anything when they die. Like, when you actually watch a horror movie and like people die, you're supposed to be like, okay, they just died. That means there's going to be more deaths and stuff like that. So when you're dealing with these sort of horrors, you need to build those suspense moments up. You need to get me on the edge of my seat in panic mode of like, I'm going to get scared. And you need to give me some stakes, because I just didn't feel like there's any stakes throughout this whole entire film. And there was a moment where they do a double twist. They do a double twist in this one where they're like, hey, gotcha. And I'm kind of sitting there like, yeah, okay, that's kind of predictable. This movie is very predictable. You can see where it's going to go. There's not really too much story to it. They try to give you story, so credit to them for trying, but I just didn't feel like it was flushed out enough, and it dragged on. The pacing of this film is not good. Without that suspense, you're not gonna. It's just drags. It really does. And look, I don't mind seeing a horror that doesn't have blood and gore and people dying left, right, and center, as long as you nail that suspense for me. That is the key when I go in to watch a horror movie, whether it's PG or not. You need to nail that suspense. And one thing I'm glad that they didn't do is rely on jump scares. This movie doesn't rely on any jump scares. There is no jump scares really where you're like, oh, jump out or anything like that. They try to make creepy scenes with things appearing behind and then disappearing, the usual stuff that we're used to. But it never really works. It never is really executed to its full potential, which is a shame, because I feel like this movie has a lot of potential to be really good and actually integrate these concepts that they come up with, which I really like, but the execution of them just wasn't there. And that's the problem. That's my big issue with it. And look, some of the effects as well. The bear suit, either it's a suit or mechanical, whatever it is, it didn't look great. The spider didn't look great. And I get it's a low budget one, so I can kind of forgive it for that, and that's fine. But without that suspense and build up, it's just didn't land for me. It really didn't. And it's a shame, because after watching the trailer, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued by this. And then learning more about and reading more about the concept behind it with the imagination and imaginary friends, what happens to them, that really caught my attention, but it just never amounted to anything in my opinion. So let me know what you guys thought. Maybe you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, that's freaking awesome. I'm so happy for you. For me, it just didn't work. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Smash that like button for me. Click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe, and peace out.